Unlike drag racing with Danny Zuko, where the rules are there are no rules, it's just the first one of the bridge back wins, there's rules to this. And just like growing up, I kind of forgot some of those rules too. I'll probably do the same thing here. But rule number one, we'll keep to this one. You want this to be cold, not frozen, but cold. When it gets warmed up, the fat just becomes a mess to deal with. Rule number two, anything like this, no sharp edges, anything hanging like that, is just going to burn up. You don't want that to burn up. Not only that, it's going to burn up and slough off. There's a couple of really good parts of this fat. This is the feathery part. This is the part where you bite into it. Once you cook this right, it just like melts in your mouth. And this is the nice, not so nice, hard fat. Very hard fat. Useless fat. Useless fat for most people. We're going to save those useless parts. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it during the cook. So what you want to have are one pan for the good fat that we're going to cut off, and then a bowl for the bad fat. Now, the reason you wouldn't put those in two pans is because I don't want you to get confused and do the wrong one. So essentially the good fat is going to go in here. I'm going to put this in the top of our smoker, and we're going to allow that to render down into what's called tallow. And we're going to use the tallow when it comes time to wrap this up. The bad fat, just hold on to it. I'll show you what we'll do to it tomorrow. Things like this that just kind of fall off because that's just what the briskets do sometimes. Just how they come. Try to get the best one you possibly can. By that I mean prime, choice is next down the rung of the ladder, and then select. You can do fine with select, but the higher quality you get, it's just like anything else, better your chances are of success. Okay, and one of the last rules is try not to flip this thing up and down and all around like a fish, because it's not. I try to just get one side, get it cut really well, and then move on to the other side. And I will be spinning this thing around so you can see it. So we're just going to start right here at this section. I like to use a curved knife. This is that hard fat. So we're going to put that in the bowl. It's okay to cut into this a little bit. What you don't want to do is cut into the backside and skin it. Not good at all. Don't want to have anything hanging. You want it to be really smooth, somewhat aerodynamic. Think about it like that. And you can find areas where you just see where it's not really trimmed up. There's a lot of little areas hanging out there. You want the silver skin stuff off of there. If you have to dig into it, you dig into it. Because what will happen is during the cook, you'll put your rub on it, and then what will happen is you go to slice this and it just sloughs off, and then you've got a bare spot. And instead of having a nice thick layer of rub and seasoning across it, you don't want to have that. So little tags. Right now I'm going to have to flip that around to get that piece. Now I'm determined to get it. So I want to get these off as well. If you can see that. Alright, so now moving on to this tough section of fat here. We're going to basically try to cut most of it out. You got to have some here to help support this section here. But the reality is, most of it you can just basically cut out and go. This is that hard fat. I'm going to put this in the bowl and save this. And this is where a curved knife works out really well. Alright, that's pretty much all we're going to cut out of that one, or that section. We're going to leave that there. Alright, we're all going to trim this part a little bit more. Carefully pull that out. Grab it at the end, just cut along the back side of it. And that's the seam that goes all the way through, so there's only so much of that we're going to be able to cut out. Check it one more time, make sure we didn't miss anything. We don't want any peaks like that. I want it as smooth as can be. I'm going to trim just a little bit more of that out. I want it to be smoother than that. Alright, get that one to flip it over. Okay. So now we still have some hard fat here. We've got this entire section here that we still need to kind of cut. So essentially, you want to like envision what you want it to kind of look like as the end result. So we want this section to be at least 1/4 of an inch thick, and this is that nice soft fat. The kind when you cook this thing well, it just basically melts in your mouth. So you want to be very careful not to leave any bald spots. If it happens, it happens. It's just not ideal to make this side look like that side. Another thing about this side of the brisket is to answer your question, or lots of people's questions about fat side up, fat side down, is solely depends upon where most of the heat is coming from your smoker. So if you have an offset smoker and the heat is coming in this direction, it goes across the top of the brisket because heat rises. You want it to be fat side up to protect it from the heat. And the vertical smoker that I have, heat's going to come from the bottom, so I'm going to cook it fat side down. It's not rocket science. Alright, so I'm going to cut into this slowly and carefully. This is still that hard fat. It's really not good for anything except for what we're going to use it for tomorrow. Grab it and slowly pull it back as you're cutting it, keeping a good eye on it, looking down at it. Like I said, about 1/4 of an inch. This takes a little bit of time. Try not to get any bald spots. once you get back here, about this section, that's the good fat you want to keep. We're going to use that to create our tallow for tomorrow. Well, there's still some hard section of it right there. We're just going to cut into just like this. You kind of want it smooth. You want it kind of straight. Not really happy with the way this section looks. When I'm not happy with it, I just cut it. I want it to look as good as possible when it comes off and get sliced up in front of everyone. I mean, having a section like this off to the side, even though it's got meat on it, it's not too appeasing. Some of these can get cut kind of odd. You really don't have too much of a choice other than to really hack away at it sometimes. This one section here, if you see this, you get that tough part of the meat where it comes in. We've already kind of cut that out. Then you've got this section here. I mean, that's just going to burn up. So you kind of have to like just sacrifice a good chunk of it. Just cut away at it. So the thing is now, so we've got this exposed, right? Which we don't want to have because it's just the way it came off. So now the best thing to do for that, we're going to cut this off. We're not going to throw it away though. We're going to season it like everything else. But there's no way that's going to last for a 12-hour cook. But what it will do is in about 3 to 4 hours into the cook, it'll be a nice snack. Alright, so we can carve out some of this. But really when we go to slice it up, I mean it's not gonna be great there. And you're gonna have to discard it when you slice it up because there's no way to get that out because that's two connective tissues there. So about the only thing left to do for us with this is to address this section right here, which is kind of wonky. Some of them come like that. I'm gonna set this off to the side. There's really not much you can do about it. Trim up the ends and kind of make it as smooth as possible, and that's pretty much all we can do.